2 women, 2 breaking points, and 2 lines that shattered the illusion of sister wives forever. Christine Brown, as exposed, claimed TLC hid the painful reality behind the cameras. And Meri Brown's unforgettable line, "We are never, ever getting back together," became the sound of a marriage dying in real time. But what if these weren't just personal moments? What if they were part of something bigger? A carefully crafted story where real heartbreak was packaged as entertainment. Tonight, we uncover the truth behind Christine and Meri's exits. Were they empowered or exploited? And did TLC cross a line too far? Fan tweets, "Justice for Christine. Meri deserved better."
Taking my kids because it gives me time with them while we're traveling. It's good quality time with them.
Rock, paper, scissors.
It's also a good time for my teenage girls to get to know Robin. That'll be important.
Okay, you're in back. Fine.
Part 1. What if the story you've been watching for over a decade wasn't the real story at all? What if the smiles, the family dinners, and the carefully edited confessions were hiding something darker? Now, we're diving into Christine Brown's shocking expose, revealing how TLC allegedly helped mask the painful reality of sister wives behind the cameras. Christine says what we saw was only half the truth. But why now? Why speak out after years of silence? And most importantly, what exactly was TLC hiding? This isn't just a family drama. It's a story about control, contracts, and a network desperate to protect its golden goose at any cost. TLC sold us the American dream of plural marriage, a family that smiled through struggles. But Christine paints a different picture. She claims producers ignored the cracks, loneliness, favoritism, financial battles, and the emotional toll it took on her and the children. And Christine wasn't the only one whispering. Off camera, crew members reportedly admitted the real fights never made it to air. Why? Because it didn't fit TLC's storyline. By season 15, Christine had reached her breaking point. She claims TLC pushed her to smile through the pain, but every episode revealed the cracks she could no longer hide. The show painted her as emotional, dramatic, even unstable. But in her expose, Christine flips the script, accusing TLC of manipulation by omission. And here's where it gets chilling. Christine says there were entire arguments about money, favoritism, and even children's futures that never made it past the edit room. What else was buried? Fans began noticing continuity errors, timelines that didn't add up, and moments where Christine looked devastated, but the narration glossed over it. According to Christine, these weren't accidents. They were deliberate decisions to protect Kody's image and preserve TLC's family brand. So the big question is, did TLC betray Christine while selling her heartbreak as primetime entertainment? And here's the twist Christine finally admitted. She claims TLC contracts trapped her in silence. For years, she couldn't reveal what really happened or risk legal and financial ruin. The network had the power, and Christine had to play along. But once she walked away from Kody, Christine says she also walked away from TLC's grip. Free for the first time, she tells fans, the cameras were never on my side. Think about that. For over a decade, millions of women, many just like you, saw Christine as the smiling, supportive wife. But behind the cameras, she was silenced, isolated, and edited into someone she didn't recognize. It's a haunting reminder, reality TV isn't reality. It's business. And business always comes first, even before the truth. The backlash was swift. Fans felt betrayed, not just by Kody, but by TLC itself. On social media, viewers demanded accountability. Why did TLC protect Kody? Why exploit Christine's pain for ratings? Hashtags like #Justice for Christine and #Boycott TLC began trending. And here's where the story takes another turn. Fans aren't just angry. They're rewatching episodes, dissecting edits, and finding receipts proof that Christine was telling the truth all along. Christina's Expose isn't just about one woman escaping a broken marriage. It's about lifting the curtain on an entire network. TLC gave us sister wives, but Christine's truth may finally force viewers to ask, how much pain is hidden in the name of entertainment? So now we turn the question to you. Did TLC fail Christine, or was Christine complicit until she found her freedom? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. If you believe Christine deserves justice, smash that like button and share this video so more fans can see the truth. Part 2. One sentence. Just one line. We are never ever getting back together. For Meri Brown, those words weren't just a statement. They were the final nail in the coffin of her decades-long marriage to Kody. But what fans didn't realize was how deeply those words cut, not just through her marriage, but through the entire sister wives empire. Was it truly Meri's decision? Or was that line carefully shaped by years of betrayal, catfishing scandals, and TLC's ever-hungry cameras? This is the story of a woman who fought to be seen, a man who refused to let go of his pride, and a network that thrived on every ounce of their pain. Rewind to the infamous catfish scandal. For fans, it was shocking. For Meri, it was devastating. She admitted she was lonely, desperate for affection, and emotionally abandoned. That one mistake became the crack. TLC couldn't resist prying open, turning Meri into the villain of her own marriage. But what viewers didn't see? Meri claims her attempts at reconciliation were systematically ignored. TLC's edits painted her as detached, while Kody framed himself as the victim. The narrative was set. Kody admitted openly he had no interest in repairing their marriage. His words were brutal. There's nothing there anymore. For Meri, that meant living under the same spotlight, but in a loveless cage. Every smile became harder to fake. Every silence became louder. And fans began asking, if Kody had truly given up, why keep Meri around at all? Was it love? Or was it ratings? Meri later suggested that TLC thrived on her heartbreak. Producers allegedly encouraged her to confront Kody, to push for conversations that always ended in humiliation. And when Meri finally said the line, "We are never ever getting back together," TLC didn't just capture it. They weaponized it as a season-defining moment. But was it really Meri's choice to end things, or the network's golden opportunity to script her exit? And here's the twist. That famous line may not have been spontaneous. According to insiders, producers pushed Meri to claim her independence on camera. What we thought was Meri's personal mic drop moment may have been TLC's planned storyline climax. Which raises the question, was Meri finally free? Or was she still playing a part written for her? After the episode aired, Meri's world shifted. Fans reached out in support, praising her courage. But behind the applause, Meri admitted to feeling used, her lowest moments broadcast to millions. her marriage reduced to a soundbite. And for Kody? The line was the perfect shield. He positioned himself as the one wronged, while Meri carried the public shame. Fans weren't fooled for long. Outrage grew online. TLC set Meri up. Kody never loved her. This was manipulation, not reality. Hashtags like #justice for Meri and #boycott sister wives trended. Viewers accused TLC of exploiting a broken woman for profit. And here's the chilling part, many fans now believe Meri's line didn't just end her marriage. It exposed TLC's entire strategy of exploiting women's pain for ratings. Meri Brown's line, "We are never ever getting back together," wasn't just the end of her love story. It was the start of her rebirth. A declaration that she was done playing a role in someone else's narrative. Whether scripted or authentic, it became a rallying cry for women everywhere who've been silenced, sidelined, or told to smile for the cameras. So now we ask you, was Meri's line truly her moment of empowerment? Or was it TLC's final betrayal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your voice. If you believe Meri deserves better, smash that like button, share this video. Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. Christina's expose was more than a breakup story. She claimed TLC edited out her deepest struggles, loneliness, financial disputes, and favoritism toward Robin. In her words, "The cameras were never on my side." Off-screen, producers allegedly pushed Christine to smile through heartbreak while covering up Kody's anger and neglect. But Christine wasn't the first wife to feel silenced. Years earlier, Meri was already living that reality. Meri's downfall began with one scandal. Lonely, isolated, and emotionally abandoned, she fell into the infamous catfishing trap. TLC pounced. Episodes replayed her mistake endlessly. Fans debated, was she unfaithful or just unloved? Either way, Kody seized the chance to step back, telling the world their marriage was over. And then came the line, "We are never ever getting back together." It was explosive, raw. But was it really Meri's voice or TLC's script? Both Christine and Meri later hinted at the same truth. They were trapped. TLC contracts allegedly restricted their voices, forcing them to play along even when their marriages had collapsed. Insiders claim producers pushed storylines Christine as the emotional wife, Meri as the tragic loner. For TLC, heartbreak wasn't tragedy. It was content. And the women couldn't walk away. At least, not until they finally did. Picture it. Christine, bags packed, standing at the edge of her driveway, cameras rolling. The silence heavy, every second stretched. And Meri, sitting across from Kody, eyes wet but voice firm. She leans forward and says it, "We are never ever getting back together." The words hang in the air, echoing like a gavel strike. These weren't just moments. They were the slow-motion deaths of two marriages, and maybe the Sister Wives franchise itself. Here's the twist fans discovered. Both Christine and Meri's final moments may have been nudged, even staged, by producers. A former crew member told online forums, "The best lines don't happen by accident." If true, the women's most vulnerable confessions weren't just raw truth. They were TLC's perfect cliffhangers. Were Christine and Meri reclaiming their power, or were they still playing roles written for them? The backlash was fierce. Fans accused TLC of exploitation, They destroyed Meri for ratings. Christine was gaslit for years. On Reddit, threads exploded with receipts, continuity errors, scenes fans claimed were edited to protect Kody. Even Facebook groups, once dedicated to family updates, turned against TLC. And the outrage hasn't stopped. For many fans, the network crossed an unforgivable line. Today, Christine has rebuilt her life, a new love, new happiness, and no cameras dictating her story. Meri too has found independence, redefining her worth beyond Kody's rejection. Their lines Christine's exposé, Meri's never getting back together, weren't just endings. They became beginnings. Long before Christine packed her bags, the signs were already there. In the earliest seasons, Christine often smiled for the cameras. But behind those smiles, fans noticed something else. She was always last. Last in Kody's attention, last in the family hierarchy, last when decisions were made. By season 3, Christine even admitted, "I feel like a basement wife." That phrase stuck with fans, a symbol of how invisible she felt years before her final goodbye. And yet, TLC never leaned into that pain. Instead, Christine's struggles were edited into comic relief until she could no longer hide them. In 2014, Meri made what she later called the hardest decision of her life, legally divorcing Kody so he could marry Robin and adopt her children. TLC framed it as a noble sacrifice. But for Meri, it was a devastating blow. She went from being the legal wife to being, in her own words, the leftover. That quiet heartbreak laid the groundwork for her catfishing scandal just 1 year later. Was Meri ever truly the first wife again? Or had her role been erased long before she said the famous line? Christine hinted at it. Meri hinted at it. And reality TV history confirms it. Contracts are king. Gag clauses, edit approvals, and multi-season deals meant the wives had little control. Legal experts point to past TLC scandals from John and Kate plus 8 to 19 kids and counting, where cast members said they felt trapped by contracts that profited off their pain. Sister Wives was no different. For TLC, the story wasn't about truth. It was about retention, ratings, and renewal. So when Meri said we are never ever getting back together, was that freedom or just another deliverable in a contract? Love them or hate them, Sister Wives shaped how America talked about plural marriage. At its peak, nearly 3 million viewers tuned in each week. But Christine and Meri's exits shifted the conversation. No longer about faith and family, the story became about women reclaiming their lives. In fan forums, women began sharing their own stories, marriages where they felt ignored, silenced, or trapped. Christine and Meri weren't just reality stars anymore. They became symbols of survival. And maybe that's why their words hit so hard. Because deep down, millions of women recognized themselves in those lines. The fan backlash didn't just live online. Petitions began circulating, demanding TLC cancel the show or give Christine and Meri their own spin-offs. Hashtags like #justice for Meri and #boycott TLC gained momentum. Even longtime fans admitted they felt complicit in watching the women suffer for entertainment. For TLC, the brand damage was real. For Christine and Meri, the support was overwhelming. So the question became, was this the end of Sister Wives, or just the end of the lie? And through it all, one figure loomed in the background, Meri Brown. Some fans argue she was the quiet catalyst, the reason Kody turned away from Christine and Meri. Was Robyn the favored wife, or the scapegoat? That's the story we'll investigate in our next deep dive.